So let's take a look at how to build a content strategy around the idea that you've been working with this semester. And you can't really talk about content strategy without talking about SEO or search engine optimization. Basically, search engine optimization is the process that affects your visibility on the website. So when somebody goes into Google and types in fine jewelry in Minneapolis, the earlier or the higher you rank, the better. And the more frequently your site appears, the more often you're probably going to get traffic. So search engine optimization, again, if I go into Google, Bing, or Yahoo, any of those search engines, and search for fine jewelry in Minneapolis, the higher you rank on the page, the better. We're going to talk a little bit more about SEO and how to rank high, if you will, in a future lecture. But for now, I want to make sure that you understand you can't really talk about content strategy without talking about SEO rates. On the right-hand side, you can kind of see this image, and it's really difficult sometimes to think about your SEO rate and your content strategy, and certainly the idea you've been working with this semester. And it's kind of like putting together a puzzle with thousands and thousands of pieces, and you have to get them just to fit just right in order to make that beautiful picture. Same thing with SEO rate. It's putting together social media, it's putting together your idea and your content strategy to increase your SEO rate. Now, there are some ways you can do this, certainly by cross-linking your site with other sites or other social media channels. Good content, things that people share, like, and comment on are another way to increase your SEO rate. Keywords and phrases in the headlines, in the first paragraph, in the description of your social media sites. Again, another way to increase your SEO rate, and then within your tags and your meta descriptions. And we're going to talk a little bit deeper about what is SEO, the impact SEO has on social media, and a little bit about SEO and keywords in a future lecture. But for now, remember, SEO is definitely connected to your content strategy. I want to just briefly kind of go over that content strategy that you came up with, or the idea that you came up with, so you can kind of remember those 6 areas surrounding the idea, the engagement idea. You have goals and objectives. You had to write a description. You had to decide what channel this was going to happen on, or what channels this was going to happen on. You had to include a target market. This was your Pinterest persona that you made. You had to have a very strong call to action, and then you had some way to measure the success of that. So again, those are just those 6 areas. Now, a content strategy really starts again with the purpose of why you're doing it and what you want to achieve out of it. It's a way to attract the audience and keep their attention. It helps you, again, get higher rankings as far as SEO or Google or Bing searches, things like that. So again, your content strategy is how are you going to engage that audience and keep their attention. Now, there are some things that you might think about before you do that. Now, in this class, you didn't have to do a content audit, but it might be something you do if you already have your channels moving. And the picture on the right is just a content audit that I did for our eWazoo that we have talked about a little bit, or an example that I've shared with you. And so what we did is we took one board and literally wrote down everything that we're doing on eWazoo. Then we tried to figure out what were some natural ideas or themes around our posts and our interactions. Again, we're on Twitter and Facebook. And so a couple of the things that we grouped them in 4 areas is annual, and that was things that we do every year with eWazoo, midterms and finals, welcome week for our freshmen, heading on to break, things like that, things that we do every year here at Winona State. Even homecoming was another example of things that we do annually with our eWazoo account. Another area we did was in the field things. In the field things included class presentations where we went into large mega section classes such as ones in mass comm or marketing or comm studies, things that have a natural connection with social media. And we did presentations on eWazoo to get more followers and get more engagement. We also were in the field for homecoming. We also, I like to call it boots on the ground, to really advertise our social media channels. And again, our main goal was to increase the use of tablets. That was another thing that we spent some time in the field. We had just a general post. These things were like trivia questions that we might ask. We also had what we called app collections, where we might take a theme of note-taking in class, and we did a little post on 4 different note-taking apps that you might use. We also did some blogs and some videos. So again, these were kind of just strictly posts. The other theme or area that we found was that high engagement and contests. Underneath there was guess the emoji con. So we used emojis and they had to guess what app it was. We had a selfie contest, and obviously our big one was that eWazoo homecoming. So again, your idea had those 6 key areas, and before you jump into a content strategy, you could certainly take a look at what you're already doing. In this example, or in this class, you won't do this as part of the assignment. We're going to jump right into the content strategy. So this is a great little cartoon I found, and I think you'll get a kick out of this one. The future of digital world is the evolution of content strategy. And the guy on the right's like, damn it, I just learned how to use Twitter. And so again, we have to think about our content strategy. And I want to introduce you to a really simple way. It's kind of a template that you can use to build your content strategy around that idea of engagement. Now, there's lots of different formulas and lots of different templates and steps and ways to do this, but this one is one I found works really well, and it's very easy, and you can use this on most social media channels. You can also use this with most of the ideas. So there's kind of 4 areas, and it's called the 4 C's of content creation, or the 4 C's of content strategy. It's actually put out by an organization called Story Social Media. It's a social media consultant firm that helps brands build awareness on social media. So let's start with the first C, and that's going to be create. In a little bit, you'll watch another lecture where I actually implement these 4 C's into the eWazoo idea that we've been talking about. So again, the first C is create. It's going to be careful and useful content on all your channels. So this literally becomes a list of things you need to create to support your engagement idea. Anything from tweets, pictures, videos, hashtag. Maybe it's a contest, so you need to come up with rules. Maybe you even need to create the channel itself. If you're having a contest, do you have a good marketing mix where you're using social media and traditional media, and what does that look like? So again, the first C in your content strategy or content creation is looking at all of the things that you need to create or that need to be created to support the idea. The second C is commotion. And I don't want you just to talk about this. I really want you to be excited about this. You have to do more than just talk about it. And so again, you want to create commotion around your idea, build excitement. This could include teaser tweets or teaser videos or reveals. Think about this like a story, and you don't want that big reveal at the very beginning of the story. You want to build excitement, draw your target market in, create a big commotion about this idea, and then go ahead and implement it. Also, another C is compel. And what we're talking about here is making sure that the content and the things that you're doing are relevant to your target market. Make sure they are of interest to your target market. Oftentimes, again, I look back to that persona that I created on Pinterest, and I think, would Carrie Stevens like this idea? That was my Pinterest persona. So again, thinking back to the Pinterest persona, would they like it? Would they connect with it? Would they share it? Would they comment on it? Would they act on it? So how is what you're going to do relevant to your target market and of interest to your target market? The last C is pretty simple. Probably one of the more difficult pieces because it moves into your editorial calendar a little bit, which is coming up in a future lecture. But it talks about consistency and the flow of the message. All good content needs some sort of flow. There also might be some common themes or a focus that becomes consistent in there. You might even have a consistent logo, a consistent color, a consistent font choice. So what does the consistency look like in your content creation? You should try to plan out or have a consistent look to cover the life of the idea or the life of the campaign. Plan in advance. I would try with an idea to try to do a month in advance of content. You might think about layering this as well. So we have this consistent month-long campaign that I've created with all of my posts. They're ready to go. But I also want to layer this with some more manual posts, things that come up, timely things, trending things. But again, consistency, think about a month-long plan. You might even think, what am I going to post on Mondays versus Friday? Maybe what would Wednesday look like? So think about how you might have a consistent theme based on the day of the week. This will also start to kind of work its way through when it comes to your editorial calendar. So again, the 4 C's for content creation, it's a great template to use. Create, again, it's a long list of things you have to create to support your idea. Commotion, don't just talk about it, really build excitement around it. What would that commotion look like? What would it entail? Would it have smaller contests leading into the big one? Will it have tweets leading into something bigger? So again, building this big commotion. Compel, again, making sure that what you're posting is relevant and of interest to your target market. And last but not least, but the consistency and the flow of your message. And consider looking at what are you going to do to plan out that month. You want to have a consistent flow of information for at least a month, if not the entire shelf life, if you will, of your idea. So content strategies come in all sorts of different forms. That was just one way that you can build a content strategy using the 4 C's. So head on back into the class and see what to do next. And I do have an example video of this content strategy formula or template back in the class.